Oh, hi there. Welcome to Shogi in the West, an English language podcast for active Shogi players and Shogi learners around the world. In this podcast, we focus on the topics and the people that matter to those of us outside Japan trying to find our way in this game. And today, as you can see, is a solo episode, and I am always looking for more people to interview. So if you would like to be interviewed in the future, please send me a message on Discord, send me a message in these YouTube comments, even email me at shogidad81@gmail.com. 81 for 81 squares on the board, shogidad81@gmail.com, and we'll talk. I typically record them on the weekend, so if you're interested and you would be willing to put your face and your first name and your rating up for the world to see, I would love to talk to you. And that's it. Ratings don't matter. We have a wide range, and experience doesn't matter. I'd love to talk to people who are new to the game. So that little public service announcement out of the way, we do in the Shogi world here, the Western Shogi world, not have all that many sort of must-watch events or get much news outside of what happens overseas. But these days, at least in the United States, that is different at the moment. There is a new show coming to Netflix called Miss King, and it is going to be starting as of this recording. It's going to be starting next Monday. So today, when this podcast launches, it will be Wednesday, and the show will be Monday, the Monday after. So September 29th, worldwide, it's going to be available on Netflix and I believe Abema in Japan. But either way, it's going to be on Netflix. So that is one big thing happening in the Western Shogi world, in the Shogi world period, that we as Westerners are being able to take advantage of. The second thing in the US is that we have a Western Shogi tournament coming up, a West Coast Shogi tournament in October. So I'm going to talk about both of those things today and give some details. But for the most part, this podcast will be about Miss King. I am excited about it. I am cautiously optimistic and cautiously excited, and I am hoping for the best. The types of growth opportunities that chess has had in the past have made me envious. They have had Queen's Gambit, another Netflix show, which sort of took the world by storm. There has been chess events. There have been chess events, both online and offline, that have been interesting and exciting to watch. There's been a boom of chess content. People have been playing. The pandemic gave people an opportunity and sort of a kick in the pants to pick up chess or resume chess if they had played it in the past. And there's all sorts of drama nonstop these days happening in the chess world, which is constantly putting the game back into people's eyeballs. So in the Shogi world, we don't really have much of that, but this is something. And like I say, I am cautiously optimistic about it. And as a chess or a Shogi promoter, my hope is that we get more people in through this. So we'll talk about that. But just to start off, in case people have not heard of Miss King, this is a Netflix show. Again, it is going to start. It's a Netflix series. It will start Monday, September 29th, which, again, as of launch of this podcast, is next Monday. So it's happening right away. And a trailer is available on Netflix. I guess I will give a synopsis of what the show is about, and then I'm going to watch the trailer along and describe what's happening there. I'm not going to put it up on stream. I debated doing that. I don't want to run the risk of getting the copyright strikes. I don't think it would. I think it is fair use to talk and go over a trailer, but I'm not going to take any risks. I'm just going to watch it and go over it and give my thoughts there and then talk some more about what I'm looking for. So I guess as a synopsis, there is the character, Asuka is the name. And this is played by, I don't know much about this actress, but her name or her stage name or her professional name is Non or Non. It's in English, it's given as N-O-N. I don't know much about her. It's possible I've seen something with her before, but I don't know much about her. Her name is Non, and she's been in other things. But anyway, this character that Non plays, Asuka, she was born to a genius shogi playing father. And let me go over this synopsis, what I found on Reddit. She spent a harmonious childhood with her mother and father as a family of three. But one day, her evil father abandoned them both and left. Asuka lived in poverty with her mother, but eventually her mother succumbed and passed away from illness, leaving Asuka alone. Meanwhile, the father who had abandoned Asuka achieved success in the shogi world and basked in the spotlight. Murderous intent began to grow in Asuka as she watched him, and driven by revenge, she entered the world of shogi following a certain incident. She then aims to become, quote, the first female professional shogi player in history. And so that is a synopsis as taken from Reddit, the source of all truth in the world. Just kidding, I hope. But that is the synopsis. There is a trailer. Anything I mentioned here, so the show, the link to the show on Netflix, I'm going to link in the show notes. This trailer, I am going to link in the show notes. This is on YouTube. I'm going to watch it now. It begins with a disheveled character. This is Asuka. It begins with a disheveled character. She's wearing, it looks like a trench coat and some like a button-down shirt. She's crying. There's blood coming out of her nose. Her hair is all messed up. And she's like, it looks almost like she's in a dark alley. And the subtitle. So let me begin here with a little comment. Is that this trailer, as far as I could tell, as far as I could find, there is no trailer that has a dub or a subtitle, or has audio dubs. I am using Google or YouTube's, YouTube is Google. YouTube's auto translate feature from Japanese to English, which we all know as shogi players is bad at best. So I am using that, and I'm going to read that as the subtitles of the show. It is, I'm going to say, mildly concerning as to what we are going to get in terms of quality of subtitles and quality of dubs for the actual show. It's concerning that the trailer doesn't even have subtitles or dubs. They didn't even take the time to do that. It's possible I am missing a trailer somewhere. And if someone does know of one, please provide it in the comments, and I'll pin that message and get it up. But as far as I could find, there is no trailer with actual subtitles. So I'm using the YouTube auto translate. And it starts with saying, my life was wiped out by him. I was also killed by Shoichi Yuki. Presumably that's her father. One way to kill that guy, and it shows this guy, shows him playing pieces. As this text remains on the screen, it switches to him. He's got a fierce face. He makes some shogi moves, and there's some physical drama going on. And it cuts now to her in this same disheveled state, walking in sort of a foggy, gloomy street with a bunch of people. It almost, it's shadowy, it's gloomy. It almost looks like anime. It almost looks like drawn on this paused scene. So she's walking, and there's another character talking, and is to make him play shogi. It finishes that thought. The way to get to him is to play shogi. And now it shows someone. It looks like a feminine hand holding a rook piece. Just holding it up to the screen. and it's a rook piece. And as we know, shogi is a game about capturing rooks. So it shows that rook piece, and that's it. And so she's looking at it, and then she slams it down onto a board, which has, I don't know where the first place to ever show this was. I don't know if it was a chess video or a Go movie or something like that, but it's basically on a transparent board. So you see the camera is underneath the board, pieces being slammed down on top of the board, and you could see the piece coming down because there are pieces. You see the pieces on the surface, and then this piece slamming down because the board is just glass, is see-through. So it goes there, and now it shows this guy laying in the garbage, talking about she has to be the first female knight, and then it switches now to her in a white button-down shirt and a vest on top, and she's playing on a shogi board, a table shogi board. It looks like she's playing at an event. I don't know if this is I don't know if this is a tournament or if this is a club, but there are a lot of tables. It looks like the players are old enough so it's not high school. So I don't know if this is playing through like Sandan League or if it's just a tournament, a local tournament, or what. But she's playing, she's looking at the screen, and then they switch over now to an elegant scene of multiple tables with tablecloths, red tablecloths, a bunch of individual two-seat tables where people are playing shogi. There's chandeliers. It's elegant. It's elegant. So I don't know if they're taking from Queen's Gambit, where there's going to be, and I'm hoping they are, but where they're going to have different locations, some more elegant than others, getting sort of a grandiose sense of the world and building it into this dramatic thing. There was some beautiful cinematography in Queen's Gambit and some incredible locations. And the chessboards just were sort of furniture in these beautiful scenes. And it was fantastic. So they switch from that scene of them playing in this elegant area to you're looking over the shoulder of Asuka and looking at a young woman who is in a kimono, in like a peach or pink kimono, and she's giving a sort of, not a fierce look, but she's giving a direct look at the main character. And it says, after all, women have their limits. One day you will understand. You don't know if you'll win or lose. I don't know who's saying this, if it's the main character or if it is this new unintroduced character. And now the character is standing. She's wearing that kimono, that peach, with a blue bottom part. It almost looks like, if there are any Virtua Fighter 5 fans out there, it almost looks like one of Aoi's, like Aoi, I think is how it's pronounced. One of her default costumes, and it looks great. And they're at that scene now, just the two of them, in that beautiful location with the red tablecloths. And the scene continues. It pans in. She's talking. She's kind of giving the main character's talking, talking to her. It switches her face as she's talking, and she's giving kind of like a sassy, sardonic sort of face as she's talking. So it looks like she's saying maybe something nasty, and I'll comment about this later. And now they switch to another scene. So it's a floor shogi board, and there are two players playing. One guy with long hair, feeling his chin, and another guy sort of in the suit with glasses. Almost looks like an older Ochi from Hikaru no Go. Get a Hikaru no Go reference in there. I'll be making a few of them. He almost looks sort of like that, but with it looks like round, big glasses and short hair. And they're staring at this board, and it says, "This guy is strong. He's nothing compared to the knights around here." I'm guessing they translated knights as shogi players as knights in this, or the AI did. Whether or not that's what they did, and now it switches over to the girl, to the girl, the Asuka, and her eyes are open, and she's sort of licking her lips, about to make a move. And then some older lady in an umbrella walks in, and then they quickly pan away to Asuka crying and throwing her head around, doing a little more drama, and falling to the ground as that woman who had an umbrella is now looking down on her. And it switches to who I think is the dad, And it says, I gave up on revenge. There's pressure on them. This parade of harassment is, and then it starts showing one of those male players that had been at the board. He's kind of like he's got long hair and earrings. It shows him in a suit. Then it shows him in a thick white sweater. And he's got kind of a dumb look on his face. He looks nasty. He might be one of these stereotypical kind of mean guys. We'll see. And now it shows an older master saying, go home. Why are you getting in the way? Why are you getting in the way of the first regulator being born? I'm guessing that's just a bad translation. Don't know what that means. And now it shows another person kind of getting shuffled away. It looks like by police. It's one of the people that we saw laying was laying in garbage. He's a guy just in like a business suit, and he's got some glasses. I don't know if he's a player or not. I don't know what he is. But now they're switching to a lady who's yelling, and it looks like they might be in a record shop. She's yelling. She's wearing a sweater, and now the guy is being thrown across the room, and now the main character is in her tie again with her vest, and she's talking to another woman, and she's got her arms folded, and she's crying again, and she's got a bottle of water, and it says, when I stab, there's a lot of crying in this trailer. When I stab Shogi, everyone becomes unhappy. So now it's showing who I presume to be her mom. It's making lots of fast cutscenes. Weren't we going to kill Shoichi Yuki at Shogi together? Lives freely. I guess it means he lives freely, or I don't know. But maybe this is someone else, maybe a relative. This is the guy who was laying in the garbage and getting taken over by the policeman. Maybe it's someone who has a grudge also against her dad. I'm not sure, but it sounds like maybe there's going to be something there where they're going to team up. And now it shows someone jumping off a building. I couldn't tell who it was. And now it shows Asuka again playing shogi with a crowd around her on just like a folding table. And she collapses over the board. No idea what's going on there. She's very dramatic. And now it shows the three of them when she's a baby with her dad and mom at looks like a happy family. She's there at a restaurant, and now the mom is smiling. And now there's money flying in the sky, and she's just standing there. And now she's standing there again saying, I don't recognize him. I will deny it with all my might. And they switch to the dad, and they switch back to her, and she's gripping a paper too firmly. It's kind of wrinkling. And now it says, defeat Kunizuka. I don't know if Kunizuka is that other guy or if it's the dad. They're showing her in a dojo and walking up the stairs. She's wearing a fancy outfit. She's throwing some sand into the sky. And it says, let's get started. And it shows the dad, presumably the dad, saying, let's get started. And then it shows her making a shogi piece, a dramatic shogi piece move. And it cuts to black and says, Miss King. And now it shows her looking at some. Then it switches again to her looking at, I don't know if it's Sakura, and now just the final, sort of that presentation view where it says Miss King. It shows her holding the piece like this. She's got messy hair, and she's got her collared shirt and blood coming out of her nose, and that's where it is. And it stays on there for another 15 seconds. So that is the trailer. Very dramatic. Lots of drama. They're really trying to ratchet up the drama. There's a lot of shogi being shown, and I hope that is the case because I love the series that focus on the game. So like Hikaru no Go was focused on Go, and it was a great anime. The live action also, which was a Chinese live action, I enjoyed as well. Also, it focuses on the Go. So, Queen's Gambit, I wouldn't say it focuses on chess. There's other stuff going on. No, I think I would say it focuses on, above all, there's a lot of chess. And I'll have to rewatch it again to see if that's actually the case. But chess is, I think, the primary element of that series. There's a lot going on in that one. But I think chess is the primary element. Unlike, say, March Comes In Like a Lion. March Comes In Like a Lion, where the shogi is just window dressing. It is not as far as I'm concerned, it's almost not even a central element in the show. It could be any game. It just happens to be shogi, and shogi is shown occasionally. It is not. I would say it is not a show about shogi. March comes in like a lion. Hachi One Diver, another live action shogi series, I would say is very much a shogi series, shogi focused. Lots of shogi playing, lots of shogi struggling and training. So I hope that this is like that, because my hope, of course, as a shogi promoter, is that I want this to lead to more shogi growth and more interest in the game. So that's what I'm looking for. And I think along those same lines, so when I say that I am looking for a vehicle for shogi growth, I'm looking for Miss King to be a vehicle for shogi growth. What do I mean by that? I think I'll go through some things. I've got some notes and I'll talk about them. But essentially, I am looking for Asuka, who is the main character again. Asuka, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. The main character, she should be captivated by shogi. She should love shogi. She may initially start out in the game only looking for revenge in order to create some sort of plot, some sort of interesting plot for people who may not be shogi players. But my hope would be that she would quickly in this show find a love of the game, which will help viewers to also become captivated by the game. If you see people, I've talked about this on stream, I might have even talked about this in a previous podcast, but if you see people who love what they're doing, you will wonder what that is and if you should play it yourself. We see this all the time at our clubs when we're playing at a coffee shop. People ask about the game. People come up and talk about it. If you are enthusiastic and you clearly love it, people will respond to that even if they know nothing about it. So I'm hoping that her love of the game would lead viewers to also become captivated by the game. And just realistically, nobody is going to become a good player. My own sense of realism for these kinds of shows, I don't have a high bar for realism, but I need some level of realism. And I think most people, in order to sort of respond to it in a way that would get them to play the game, need this level of realism. And obviously that bar is different for every person. But anyway, in my sense of realism, I am going to say that nobody is going to become a good player or a great player, as it appears she will have to be to compete with her dad, who is a famous shogi player. Nobody is going to become a good player by playing a game that they don't care about. It simply won't happen. You will not be able to convince me. I think maybe you could raise kids in an environment on the side and they hate this game, but you have raised them to only do this one thing in their life and that's all they will ever do. And even though they hate it, they're still great at it. I don't believe this can happen. Maybe it could. I don't think it will. But regardless, I'm going to say nobody is going to become a good player or a great player by playing a game that they don't care about. A game which would only be a vehicle for revenge. If that was the case, that would wear out very soon. If someone's really mad at someone and they decide the way that I am going to get back at this person is to become a world-class shogi player and beat them on the board, those I think the first few years of struggling in shogi would be enough to make them probably a little more peaceful and forget about their revenge and just move on with their life and do other things. So that I think is number one. She's got to be captivated by shogi. She cannot be simply driven by a revenge. It's not realistic, and I don't think it will get people as interested in the game. Again, these are things that I hope for as someone who promotes shogi, and I want this show to be a vehicle for shogi growth. Along the lines of her being captivated by shogi, I hope that they show a lot of shogi in various settings. Key. This is an absolute key. Tournaments, of course, with nice pieces and equipment and beautiful settings. They add a dramatic flair and elegance to the game. In the trailer, we sort of see that. There's the big chandeliers. There's the single tables for each board. There's dark lighting and nice boards and the tablecloths. So it looks like they might be going for that, which I am very excited about. The game, The Match, I should say the movie, the recently released Korean Go movie, Baduk movie called The Match, did this, as far as I'm concerned, incredibly well. They showed all sorts of different settings with a beautiful sense, an artistic sense, and vision back to the past. And I loved it. I think it was tremendous. And their scenes with Go were outstanding. So I hope this has some of that. In addition to that, regular non-tournament competitive scenes need to be there. They'll capture the tension of playing and add sort of to the sporting element of the show, I think, which can get viewers cheering and witnessing the actual progression of the main character. So you'd have tournaments. You would have sort of regular non-tournament games where you can see growth and competition, get the viewers interested. But in addition to those, lots of training scenes, I think, can also be effective to getting people hooked. Maybe the most effective. Like many classic fighting movies, Rocky, Kickboxer, Bloodsport, I could just name the various Van Damme movies. They include training montage scenes. These are time-honored tradition in that kind of movie where you see the player struggling through their training, getting better. You're using that as a reference to them getting better. I'm thinking just right off the top of my head, Rocky IV, where there's the scene that shows the differences between the two characters. One character is training in a super high-tech environment. Another one is training in a super low-tech environment. And you see them improve as the scene gets better. They show them doing one thing at the beginning, and by the end, they show them doing that same action better than they did at the beginning. Really well done. Those kind of scenes, they get the excitement going. It gets the viewers' excitement levels up. It makes the competitive juices flow. I think it's fantastic. Queen's Gambit had these scenes, and I thought that they did these really well in that. Very well done scenes in Queen's Gambit. And I have to believe that these scenes, in these sorts of scenes, really hook some viewers. And they make them want to experience those same thrills themselves, leading them to want to play the game. Let me just take a quick drink here. Hikaru no Go had a lot of these moments, and it was a long anime. Even if you're not a Go player, highly recommend you watch Hikaru no Go if you can. It had a lot of these moments, and they were some of the best parts of the series, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Hachi One Diver, a live action adaptation of a shogi manga, had some incredible and amazing training scenes. I watch these scenes and I want to train myself. Like if I turn on Hachi One Diver and I see some of these training scenes, you're going to see me training shogi. And I think that this element is really, really key. I guess moving on to another thing that I would like to see. As far as I'm concerned, Asuka, again, the main character, her skill in shogi cannot be immediate. They cannot go for the easy route. They cannot make her skill in shogi immediate. There must be a growth arc or an explanation for her ability. In Queen's Gambit, the main character, they start out when she's young. To be fair, the main character did get very good very quickly. And I would argue in the end, it was a 1 season show or 2 season show. I don't remember. I think it was a 1 season show. Excuse me. And at the end, I would argue that she got too good too quickly. But regardless, she had a path, but she started how most great players will start: young, addicted to the game, thinking about the game, dreaming about the game. Famously, in that show, she's in bed and she sees the board on the ceiling, stockfish in the ceiling. They show her buying books, buying equipment, acquiring and devouring magazines, some Russian magazines, and all these other magazines that are available. So it shows that she started from something low, and through her love of the game and her just addiction to the game, she became better and better. The explanation for strength, it cannot just be that Asuka's dad is a shogi genius, so she's also a shogi genius. That would be incredibly lazy and unsatisfying, and I won't say it'll do a disservice to people playing, but I think it'll do a disservice to the show, the realism of the show, and sort of the immersion into the show, because as viewers, we want to be immersed in this world. We want this to be a lived in, realistic world that represents something that we could reasonably see. And so she has to have some sort of backstory or some sort of long training arc that explains how she gets good. It cannot just be her dad is it would be like in Hikaru no Go, Toya Koyo, the Meijin, he's good, and so his son, Toya Akira, the rival of Hikaru, the kid is just good. They show early on that is not a case. And it becomes actually a discussion point in the show because, well, I won't go too much into the plot, but it shows how much that this character, the rival, Toya Akira, he believes that mortification, this word, that this translation from the fan sub, like the mortification and the self-doubt and the difficulty and the time and the effort that goes into becoming good, these are all things that the character has to do. You cannot just be like, all of a sudden, one day she sees her dad, she's mad, she decides, I'm going to beat him, and she's already rising the ranks. Can't be that. Cannot have that. Speaking of skill, the main character must look, this is a personal thing for me, but the main character, Asuka, she must look like she could at least theoretically be a real shogi player. Piece placement and holding the pieces, it must be good. Her attitude must be something beyond edgy, sarcastic, sassy. She has to be more than a DreamWorks animation character. She has to have a level there. And I think she needs to have that intangible look of intelligence in her eyes. I've rewatched this trailer a bunch of times. I'm not sure if she has it, but it's just a trailer and they're trying to get excitement. But I think for this to really work, the main character, the actor, they have to have that look of intelligence in their eyes. And I think most people will know what I talk about, where you see some people, you don't see a bright light shining in their eyes. You see sort of a dim light. You see a dim. I think to be this character that is going to really pull this show off, I think she's got to have that intelligent look. She cannot just be edgy, sarcastic, sassy, whatever kind of annoying features that people like to focus on these days. She's got to have that intelligence in her eyes. Some people have that look, some don't. But I do think for this series to work, the main actor really needs to pull it off. Again, it's hard to tell from this trailer if she has it, or if some of the sub characters have it. I think that is also key. So one of the characters in particular, and this is I'm a bit concerned. One of the characters in the middle, this is the guy that they show in the suit, and then they show him right after in a sweater. He's got earrings and sort of long hair. This might be the main non-dad antagonist. Like, I'm guessing this might be like the young shogi phenom slash antagonist. He's concerning to me. Like I said, I've watched this trailer a bunch of times. This casting and this character is very concerning to me. I don't think he has that look of intelligence in his eyes. I think he actually kind of looks very shots fired. I think he looks pretty dumb. And he looks like he could be one of those sort of just annoying characters. I think you don't want to have a recurring character in these kinds of series that doesn't fit and just causes groans and eye rolls, every time they're on the screen. Every time this guy comes up on the screen, I'm afraid that I'm going to be like, just kind of roll my eyes at, here's this guy who looks like a complete buffoon, but we're supposed to believe that he's a great shogi player. So this, I think, is key. We've got to show the main character in an intelligent light. I think Queen's Gambit did a great job of this. The actress, I'm not going to try to pronounce her name, but she's got the intangibles that people are looking for, but she also has just a sharp, fierce look of intelligence in her eyes. And it really, I thought, cemented that intense chess player feeling. So I'm hoping this character can be more than just edgy and sassy and crying all the time, which is what they've shown most in this video. Moving on, I suppose there should not be a straight up trajectory. If you're looking at a shogi graph, like an evaluation graph, this should just not be going from straight up all the way, straight down all the way up of just pure improvement. There must be growth. We must, I think, as viewers, see growth. And to have people interested in the game, I think you need to see that. I think they need to see the realistic side of this. You fight along with the character for what they're going through. So there has to be growth. But as anyone knows, growth has ups and downs. In the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer, there is the main character, young Josh Waitzkin. He was portrayed, if I'm remembering correctly, so I read the book, I've watched the movie a bunch of times, but I haven't watched it recently. He was portrayed as initially being attracted to the pieces. I actually don't know what piece that was that he found in the park, but he has a piece that he found. And then the flurry of games that he witnessed in the park between sort of chess hustlers and chess players. He set up the pieces at home. Before he had a chess set, he set these pieces up with his action figures. I think his Playmobil kind of action figures. And he became very good very quickly, winning youth tournaments even. But eventually, sort of the pressure of the game and the expectations on him, they began to take a toll. And he had to overcome those. So it was not just this straight path. And that was a movie. So that was a movie, and the process had to be abbreviated, obviously, for a movie. The book goes into much more of sort of the realistic ups and downs of it. And a movie has to be abbreviated, of course. But Miss King is a series. So I think that will allow for a lot greater character growth and a lot greater shogi growth. They should have plenty of room to portray nuanced growth of shogi. And that includes the ups and the downs. I'm going to guess that they will, if only because ups and downs are very dramatic. It's a dramatic thing, and they want drama. Finally, I guess, I'll say that I hope they make the characters generally likable, generally relatable, and that they don't just make them simple, one-dimensional caricatures of edgy girl, arrogant guy, evil dad, etc., etc. I think we've all seen those kinds of shows. And those they don't capture my imagination, and I don't think they capture many people's imagination. In addition, and I know that this is Netflix, so it might be too much to hope for, but I really hope they stick to shogi and traditional themes without getting into their sort of agenda pushing culture war stuff, the kind of stuff that Netflix loves to inject in every series these days. So hopefully they don't. It's a Japanese series, so I think there's a good chance that we'll avoid a lot of that, and it'll just be a great shogi focused show with themes that everyone can relate to. So anyway, those are my hopes. Those are my hopes for the show. And, as someone who's looking to grow the game in the West, that's the key for these points. I think I have some more points that I suppose I'm probably looking for. But as someone looking to grow the game in the West, those are my core hopes for it. The more I rewatch the trailer, the more I think they could have something great, as long as they maintain a strong shogi focus. Strong shogi focus. It's hard to say that thing. Execute well and don't over dramatize. There is a lot of drama in that trailer. There's a lot of crying. And I don't think, I have ever witnessed anyone crying in shogi outside of myself crying myself to bed at night as I lose again and again games that I feel I should be winning. But I hope they stick to a grounded show without so much drama, so much crying. One other thing, I guess, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about it. I hope the dubs are at least passable, just at least passable. Some shows I've watched recently, my wife and I watch a number of Japanese and Korean shows, and those dubs, sometimes we watch them with dubs, sometimes we just watch them with subtitles. The ones with the dubs can be very hit or miss. And lately, some of the Netflix series that I've watched have been rough. They've been rough dubs. The voice sometimes just doesn't have any tension to it. It doesn't have any relation to the scene that's being shown. It really feels like someone is reading off of a piece of paper without any imagination for what the scene is actually portraying. And those are rough. Those are very rough. And I hope that we are blessed with at least a passable dub there. Another thing that I think I really hope they do a good job on is that sometimes, this is not all the times, this is just sometimes, but when it happens, it's really bad. Sometimes the dub text, the thing that they're reading, it doesn't match the subtitle text even closely, which for me, it just causes like a brain chaos. Because I would say as an older person, but I've been doing this. My wife and I have been watching with subtitles, even in English language shows and movies for a long time. But when the subtitles don't match up to the spoken words of the same language, it's hard because I'm reading, I guess as I'm doing this, I'm reading and I must have an internal voice for the reading. But then there's the other voice of the person saying different things. And it's just like, it's a jumbled conversation in my head. And I hope that they don't do that. That would be really bad. The solution to that for me has always been, we just leave the subtitles on and we switch it to the native language. And that's what I would have to do. And maybe in the end, I'll probably watch these shows at least once or at least twice. I'm thinking each episode. So maybe one I'll watch with the dub, maybe one I'll watch just with the subs, dubs plus subs, and then another one that I'll just watch with the subs. So I can hear the the main character. The show is designed with the sounds of these people's voices coming into the screen. It's part of that the dramatic flourish of the show is the spoken word. And if the subtitles are not great, you lose that. And I'll want to hear anyway what it is. So hopefully they can do that. Some of the shows I've watched recently, the ones I've talked about, like The Match, again, that show or that movie, I thought was excellent. I seem to like that movie more than a lot of Go players, which is kind of surprising to me, because I would think that they're craved for movies and would just be so excited. But I loved it. And the acting felt tremendous. The dubs felt very good, very good. And the cinematography was just stunning, I think, in parts. And so, that is my bar in some ways. The Match, Queen's Gambit, those are kind of my bar where I'm hoping that Miss King can hit there. If it can hit there, I'll be ecstatic. I'll be on cloud nine. That would be incredible. Even if it doesn't reach that, but it gets close, I think it'll be an outstanding show and could help us get more people into the game. So, that's it. That's, I guess, really all I've got to say about Miss King. I will leave, again, the links in the show notes about it. And then I'll move on to the next topic. This is another quick little topic here. I just want to get the word out for people who haven't become aware of it somehow. Any Shogi players who might be watching or listening to this podcast and who are not following along on the Shogi Harbor Discord or on the Shogi Reddit. This is a tournament that is coming up in the United States. It's going to be in Los Angeles. It is October 11th and 12th. It's a quick tournament. It is October 11th is a Saturday. And obviously October 12th is a Sunday then. And we're going to be playing where the 2024 United States Shogi Championship was played. I say we, I'm registered. I'm going to be there, unless something happens, I'm going to be there. And with my Shogi Dad shirt, wearing a Shogi Dad shirt, probably also wearing a button-down shirt like this, maybe on top. But I will be there. There will be two pros there. There will be Odaka Sakiko, who is a ladies professional shodan. And there will be Wada Hana, who is a ladies professional 1Q. Both of these players have some sort of special meaning to me, because on Shogi Wars, the voice, the countdown, and sort of the narration voice that I use, and it's the latest voice that they've added, is Odaka Sakiko. And my avatar is Wada Hana. She is the 2018 U.S. Shogi champion when her family was living in the United States for a brief amount of time back in 2018. She won the event. I think she was a 15-year-old at the time. She was either 15 or 16, I believe, when she won. And so I have been using her as my avatar since I won it in a winning streak event. It was really important to me to get that because this is the 2018 U.S. Shogi champion. And over time, there's also been an additional thing now, which has made it special, is that friend of the channel, Tokyo Peach, who is a fellow YouTube content creator and from Brazil. She's a player, content creator, teacher, educator, promoter of shogi, great person, and she qualified to play in a ladies' professional event in Japan earlier on this year, and she played Wada Hana in their first round match, and it was a great match. Really impressive pro level match as far as I'm concerned. And so Wada Hana will be there. Odaka Sakiko will be there. The location will be Fred Hess Community Park. I'm going to provide a link to this. This information is always available on shogiusa.com. We interviewed Vince in one of the first interviews. This was the first interview besides my self interview I don't remember offhand what episode it was. I'll link to it here. But Vince from Phoenix Shogi was interviewed, and he's also the person who created Shogi USA. And this information is all available there. But anyway, this tournament, it's a quick one. Like I said, it starts Saturday morning. 9 a.m. is the setup. There's registration, free play, playing with the pros. Free play includes playing, teaching games with the pros. Noon is lunch. And then at 1 o'clock is when the actual shogi starts. And that's the team tournament. These are always fun. They're always fun. And 3:30, the sort of individual tournament begins. And I think we'll get just one round before it closes at 5. So these events, they rent out this hall, and I do think there may be some sort of time component to the scheduling, because I think they really want to end at that 5. So there's probably going to be one round of the main tournament. And then the dinner party starts at 6. And we'll go into the pricing on these a little after. That dinner party starts at the 6. It'll be held at one of the tournament organizers' homes. I wasn't there in 2024. I did not pay the dinner price to go to his home and play with more games with pros and whatnot. I actually had lunch with at the time, the defending U.S. Shogi champion, Muse, if anyone knows who that is. Shogi Kingdom, Yellow Traffic Light, great person, great shogi player, great educator. Had dinner with him and his friend, someone also my friend. I have friends, no big deal. I'm cool. So yeah, we had dinner. So I have never been to this person's house. I've seen photos, but I am going to be there this time for dinner. It should be a lot of fun. Sunday morning, bright and early at 9 a.m. we get the setup again, and then the tournament starts at 9:30. And it says there's a lunch break for lunch at 12. So I think that means there will be two. My guess is that there will be 2 rounds that morning. And then lunch, it looks like there may be another single round. And then the semifinals and finals to be held after. So the semifinals and finals, obviously 4 players and then 2 players. So it's a very short tournament. It's going to be either I think probably 4 rounds, 4, possibly 3 rounds of main tournament before the semifinals. So it's going to be fast. The entry fee here, I'm sort of going by the layout on shogiusa.com. Adults, $100. That is expensive. I realize it. It is less expensive than the U.S. Shogi Championship. And when you see, if you haven't been to one of these events, when you see what is going into the event, I think you will come away with an appreciation for that fee, and you won't be upset at all. If anything, you might realize, and I have not asked anyone, but I'm pretty certain that the organizers are running this tournament at a loss. That would be my guess. It feels like $100 is a lot for a tournament, and it is. No bones about it. $100 is a lot of money for a short little weekend tournament. But when you consider what else is going into this tournament and how much I think the organizers have to probably end up paying out of pocket, I think it's more than reasonable. Students with an ID can get there for $75. Children 12 and under, accompanied by guardian, are $50. So that's good. You want more kids playing. There's a bento box lunch for both days. Highly recommended based on my experience at the 2024 championship. I believe one of the players has a catering business, and he is the person bringing it there. It was delicious, absolutely delicious. Both days, $40. It's just $40 for both days. The bento lunch, tons of bottled teas and drinks and stuff like that were available as well. So really good time. The optional dinner party for adults, it matches the tournament prices. For adults, it's $100, students $75, children $50. And I'm told that the sushi and the level of food quality is outstanding. It's a fun opportunity to play with other players and with pros. So I'm paying it. I'm going to be there, and really looking forward to that dinner as well, because it looked like a lot of fun in the photos I've seen. And I might actually play a pro this year in one of at that dinner. If there's opportunity, I might play a pro. I would not mind. Like, the pro thing doesn't really do it for me. Obviously, I can't wait to meet them, because these are two players that are part of my Shogi Wars daily life. But in terms of playing pros, it means nothing to me. I understand that people love it, but for me, I'd rather play Koshiro. I'd rather play the people that I play regularly at the club, just because I'm an amateur fanboy. I am more than I am a pro fanboy. So, but this year, I think I would love to play Wadahana personally. This is, again, being a fan of the amateur. This is a player who has won the tournament that I play in. So it's like, this is an important person in United States Shogi lore. And so I would like to play Wadahana. Without a handicap, of course. Just going to point that out, since we've talked about handicaps in the past. Yeah, and so that's really it. The time controls. Let me get into the time controls. The main page doesn't show it, but it links to an official flyer. And on the flyer, there's more information, both in English and in Japanese, if you're interested. The time... So this is for the main tournament. There is no detail on the team tournament. I'm guessing they're going to leave this up to like a game time decision, depending on how many people are there, to decide what the time control will be. But for the main tournament, it's a Swiss. All players compete in every round. There's no eliminate. It's not an elimination tournament. I'm guessing, except for the semifinal and final, where I think everyone watches everyone else. The time control, 15 minutes with 40-second byoyomi. I call this the California time control. We love 40-second byoyomi out here, and so it's a nice time control. 15 minutes, 40 seconds. This is what it was at the 2024 U.S. Championship when I played. It's nice. It gives you some time to think. It's not as great as Fisher. It's not as great as some delay systems, but it's nice. And I like it. The 2025 US Shogi Championship was 10 minute with 40-second byoyomi. So this is a little longer. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to guess, based on this time control, that there will be 4 rounds. Like I said earlier, 4 rounds of playing. We'll see, though. The final standings are decided by the total wins. It's a Swiss. And there's a children's tournament running as well, in case anyone is interested in bringing their kids. This runs from on I think it's the Sunday. Yeah, the Sunday from 9 to 12. And it's just, the atmosphere of it is fantastic. Last time, the game record keeper was Nishiyama. She was 3 crowns. Nishiyama 3 crowns at the time. And it was so funny to see her. These kids are just bringing up the things, and she's recording the results, like just like some regular person off the street. And one of the living legends of the game is there. And so one of these ladies pros, I imagine, will be running it. One or both of them will be running it. So we'll see. More detail on the party. The pros will be there. And as it says here, this is a rare opportunity to meet and interact with women's professional shogi players, enjoy conversations, photos, and an unforgettable evening together. Adding to the experience, we will feature authentic Edomaye. I don't know if this is a type or a restaurant or means something else. I don't know. A sushi freshly prepared on site by a professional sushi chef. Like I said, I did not go to the 2024 event, but the people that did raved about it. You just get massive amounts of highest quality sushi, as part of the price of admission, and enjoy your time. So it will be a memorable evening filled with shogi, conversation, fine food, and laughter. And so I'm sure it will be. I'm looking forward to it. And really, that's all I've got to say about the event. And I think that's really all I've got to say for this week. 2 big events again happening here in the Western Shogi world. Miss King is happening worldwide on Monday, September 29th, again on Netflix in, I think, every region. I believe this is worldwide. So you check Netflix. I will add the Netflix link, at least for the US store. I don't know if they have different links for different regions or if they switch off, but I will have that in the show notes. That is happening. Very excited for it. And the West Coast Shogi Tournament 2025 is happening in October 11th to 12th in Los Angeles. Also excited about that. So 2 great things. And so that will do it for me. I will just remind you, if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them in the YouTube notes. I'll address them in the next podcast. I would love to have things to talk about driven by people like yourself. And so please do not hesitate. Do not be embarrassed. We all like to talk about this stuff, and it's more fun when people are involved. If you want to be interviewed or you're considering being interviewed and want to know more, contact me. Contact me. I would love to talk to you. I would love to record a show interviewing you. And so hit me up on the Shogi Harbor Discord. I'll have the link there, a private message, in the YouTube comments, in email, shogidad81@gmail.com. Please do that. And then if you're interested in supporting the show notes has the links for Ko-fi. You can donate through Ko-fi. This is a really nice site that allows people to donate. I believe it's through PayPal. I'm not sure if it's through other sites. I know it's through PayPal, but it may be through other means. They pass on every cent, as far as I know, to the person that's being supported. So, I believe 100%. Well, PayPal will take some cut, obviously, but it's the way to get the most money to a content creator that I am aware of. And I know a lot of podcasters are using it. I've been using it since the beginning. It's really great. And so please let me know, or please, if you want the show to keep going and you like it, and you would like to support and are able to, please consider that. Also, YouTube, you can join the channel, which is similar to a Twitch subscription. You can join the channel, which is a monthly cost, and you get special perks, including playing, and you get early access to the podcast. And because typically I will upload and make these available, I'll upload these and then I will re-listen to them probably multiple times before releasing them on Wednesday at midnight my time. It's 12:05 midnight my time in the United States on the Pacific. That is the usual time, but if you are a member of the channel on YouTube, you will get immediate access to it as soon as I do. Twitch, I opened up subscriptions and people have been very generous with that. So thank you to all those people. And so it's been a good week of Shogi there. If you've got Amazon Prime subs burning a hole in your pocket, please consider attaching your account, connecting your account on Twitch. If you're an Amazon Prime user, you have one Twitch subscription that you can use for free every single month. And a chunk of that will go to the streamer. So continue or consider please subscribing to the channel with Prime or without. And thank you to the people who have already taken the bull by the horns and done that. And I appreciate it. It really will. It's going to keep this kind of content coming, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So with all that said, thank you, everybody. This has been another fun podcast to do. If you've got ideas, send them. And as always, enjoy your shogi. Thank you for listening and have a great remainder of your day. Take care. Bye.